This man has never knocked nobody out cold. He's a bully. He's slow. He has no skill, no footwork. He's awkward. And I have been giving him a name. Because he fights. When he's fighting, if you ever watch him in the ring, he drags like that after his opponent. And how's the mummy gonna catch me?
And all I had to do was to go out and beat a man who had no skill, no class. Seriously, the man had no skill. I don't know why the world is so foolish to believe in him and think that I wasn't going to win.
Well, when you say you're ready to go to war right now...
I see that bear on the street, I'll beat him before the fight.
You'd actually take him on before the fight?
Beat him like I'm his daddy.
Basketball players out there, football players, they want to beat so bad, they want to get everybody. I'll go to Mars, I don't care.
For the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world, let's get ready to rumble!
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Lights Out Sports Debates, where we dare you to debate. Obviously, I'm Tperfect, and today we're going to do a little something different, all right? So, a little change of plans. Going to be doing the show starting off solo, but we'll see who joins us, right? And so, try to do a little bit something different today. I want the most interaction that we've ever had, right? I want you guys to tell me what's on your mind. I want you guys to control what we discuss. I want your opinions. I want you to be unafraid to say whatever you want. Nothing's off limits. Just make sure it's, something that we can kick around and it's not going to be boring, okay? Otherwise... And I'll drop the link right now, just so we can start off. Okay. Oops, excuse me. And just so while we do that, here we go. Lots of stuff to actually go into right now, but until I get another topic suggested by you guys, one thing I thought was interesting was these recent comments by your guy, one of my favorite players, Tracy McGrady. He was on Gilbert Arenas podcast, and I mean, unsurprisingly, right? All the best content seems to come from there lately. And one thing they were talking about was, would LeBron James be the GOAT? And undisputed GOAT, I should say. That was a highlight, right? If he played in the triangle offense with Phil Jackson, presumably replacing Michael Jordan on the Bulls, right? He was in Michael Jordan's spot, his slot, for the exact same time period, right? And the consensus was, from them at least, yes. And they didn't really, I mean, as you can expect, they didn't really provide too much in the way of justification of that or reasoning why, right? It was just like, oh, hey, I believe this. And it was just like, yeah, you totally would be. Oh, because you got all these great players around him, man. You had Phil Jackson. Now, again, I will reiterate this. I do have LeBron as my personal GOAT, right? But like I said, I know a bad take when I see one, and that's as bad as the takes go, right? So with that, hey, but we've got them pouring in already, all right? And let me go ahead and let's see here. Person in charge of let's see, Politicus Rex. Who is a person in charge of the AAU that has destroyed American basketball? Rex, let's put that one on the back burner because I have no freaking idea. I'm not going to front with you, and I'm too lazy to do any research right now. But let's go. Aircraft carrier. Is Chiefs Kingdom done? Okay, there we go. And is the Mahomes era over? Aircraft carrier. I think it's way too early to count out Mahomes. I mean, they just went to a Super Bowl. They obviously it's a slow start, right? I think Kelsey's washed. I think that they have some injury problems. What is Worthy going to be out for the entire season? Who knows? Their running game is, but I think they're going to get back on track this Sunday, today, obviously, and look for them to come out strong. Mahomes has been written off before. He's always turned it around. The Chiefs are too talented, they're too well coached to just go quietly, right? I think that division is still wide open. I think the Chargers are overperforming right now. I think the Raiders are exactly what I assume they'd be, which is, Geno Smith isn't a team lifter, right? And we'll see what happens there. But I think they'll still make a run. So I don't think they're going to be. I don't think they're going to be in the Super Bowl this year. But at the same time, I think that there'll be, I think they'll probably win that division. Okay. Let's see. LeBron says LeBron plays a different position, or I'm sorry, LeBron. Politicus Rex, welcome back, man. LeBron plays a different position than Jordan. LeBron would be better fit in Pippen. That's a great take. LeBron would absolutely, because he could definitely fill a lot of things that Pippen did. He would be, he's a great passer. He's an able rebounder. In his prime, he was, a very capable defender. I'm not saying he was ever approaching Pippen's defensive capability. That's not true, but he was an apt defender at that position in his prime, and I think he could help. I think him and Mike would definitely have scored another championships because he definitely better scored than Pippen. He was a better shooter. I think he had a better offensive overall game than Pippen, but I think it would have been similar results. Let's see here. Aircraft carrier. We're trying to go down the list here. Let me get King's Speech and I'll answer that question. What up, King's Speech, bro? How's it going? Well, King's Speech is up here. I will answer the question real fast. Aircraft carrier says, Travis, why is LeBron going when Mike is superior on both sides of the basketball and he's a perfect winner? Plus, Mike is more efficient. So, this is why I say everyone has a criteria, and mine just considers everything, right? LeBron is top 5 in MVP, regular season MVP awards. He's top 3 in Finals MVP awards. Hey, what's up, bro? Just answering this question real fast from Aircraft Carrier. His accolades and awards stack up very nicely with Mike's. Obviously, Mike has him beat in overall defensive selections, but LeBron has other things. He has All-Star awards, he has All NBA team selections, but I think that statistically it's very close. But I have him over Mike just because of the fact that he's doubled what you would consider to be Mike's overall prime, at least offensively, to me. And that's just and I have Mike second, right? But Mike had 11 years you consider prime, and yeah, he excelled them. But to me, when someone's on year 23, going on year 23 of just being undisputed top 5 to 15 player in the league, that's unheard of, right? Completely unheard of, in my opinion. So that's why I have him just a take over Mike. But like I said, if someone and I've always said this, if someone says, "Hey, Mike is better than LeBron," and I have him up there, that I do not have an argument with that. I have no argument. It's just my opinion, and it's like I said, just have your criteria ready, right? And like I said, a lot of the stuff you said there, I mean, you can debate it. Obviously, yeah, Mike was perfect in the finals. That's not disputed, but better winner I think is Beal, but Mike is more efficient. I mean, Mike was fantastic. I think they're both a top 10 scorer of all time, and I gave my reasons why that was. But really quick here, and I'll get Rowan on this too after I answer this. So I started off saying let's let the community here pick our topics since got a last minute cancellation from Dart. So we're gonna go ahead and continue on this. So I was like, just kind of ad lib it. But Aircraft Carrier says, and then you have a question coming up here. So Aircraft Carrier says to me, who is your GOAT QB and why? Obviously, it's Tom Brady. Because Tom Brady checks every single box, not just the longevity stats and awards, but obviously he has the most rings, he has the most wins. He's arguably the most clutch QB in the history of the game. And just everything you want from a QB, he has done. I mean, there's no real. I mean, if you want to talk about QB rating and stuff like that, sure, if that's your cup of tea. But Brady is the best I've ever seen, especially in tight situations, which I think makes the quarterback the best. and he's had a rotating cast of players. He's done it with everyone you can think of, regardless of who's on the roster. And Brady's just the best. And I mean, it's very rare that you can say he choked. Obviously, I'm not saying he was perfect in every situation, but Brady was just the best I've ever seen at that. And I watched a lot of. I went back and watched a lot of Manning, or not Manning, but Montana, Elway, Marino. I'm a huge fan of Drew Brees, but I mean, Peyton Manning's probably my second guy, but Brady's just just it's too hard to argue against him. But Roe Woodage wants to say, here's one for Roe: better backcourt between Wilkins and Mark Jackson, or Starks and Harper? Go for that.
Ooh, ooh. See, I'm going to go with the one that got. I'm going to go with the one that got Patrick Ewing the ball better, and that would be. Obviously the better defensive one was, and Wilkins was a pretty good defender. Mark Jackson would have been the weak league defender, but the one that got Ewing the ball and got Ewing to the All NBA first team was Mark Jackson. I mean, really, the Knicks championship hopes dried up when we had to trade Mark Jackson in that Charles Smith trade. So I'm gonna go with that one. I really wish they could have kept that core together. The Ewing Jackson combo. That was pretty much, honestly, that was like Malone losing his Stockton. So I'm gonna go Wilkins and Jack.
Boom, fantastic answer, and we'll keep it rapid firing. Aircraft carrier says, why is maybe, and I'll tag team this one with Roe. Why is Draymond Green a future Hall of Famer and Rasheed Wallace isn't? My quick take on that is just because it's the ring count, the prestige. I think Rasheed Wallace, if you dissect his career, a lot of it comes down to the eye test, right? I think he was one of the better post players in NBA history. A great defensive big man. He, seamlessly fitted with a lot of teams. I mean, maybe not attitude wise, but he was fantastic. I would take him in a heartbeat over Draymond Green in most respects. I think they were comparable defensively. Maybe not for as long as Draymond Green, but obviously Draymond Green was a better passer. But I couldn't build around him. I could build around a prime Rasheed Wallace to a degree, right? But I don't know. What do you think about that? I just think it's the stats, right? It would come down to the stats and the ring count as to why he's not getting in. What do you think, Ro?
Yeah, it is. I mean, well, like Rasheed is the better player without a doubt. I think Rasheed one of the most underrated guys. Again, both of these guys really didn't push hard for stats. They sat there and they did whatever teams needed. So I appreciate that. Again, both of them are high technical. I see the comparison. Both of them are high technical foul count getters. Had their issues with the referees. Rasheed, I think he was in the middle of that. Malice at the Palace. He wasn't in part of the. I don't believe he was part of the Malice at the Palace, but he was in that era where he had that baggy jeans, Philly, scowling menace, image. And even though he was a great teammate, great leader, helped teams become winning teams, Portland, and then going on to Detroit. They didn't really give him the credit he deserves on the court. I think Rasheed Wallace is definitely a Hall of Famer.
I could have said it better myself, 100%. Especially, he was like really one of the Olympic players who was consistently giving it to the Lakers in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
It was great to watch. Aircraft carrier again says, Travis, what is the difference between Hawaii and Washington besides the weather? They are both expensive. You're right, man. But the main difference, obviously, besides the weather, like you said, is Hawaii is expensive all across the board. Food is astronomical because it has to be shipped in there for the most part. So that's really your budget right there. Also, real estate is through the roof. Even if you want to get an apartment, everything's basically double where it is in the States. Like even in, like places like California, right, on per capita, it's insane. And I mean, it's a beautiful place to visit, but living there, you have to have a lot of circumstances go right for you. So I was like, live there for about a year, so that was enough for me. But oh yeah, this is I think is aimed toward Roe indirectly, but Roe, where do delusional Knicks and Jets fans get this fake confidence from? Neither team has been competitive for nearly a century. You want to take that?
Okay, let's go there. All right. So first of all, with the Jets, I'm gonna tell you what the Jets, and I'm not a Jets fan. I'm a Giants fan. The Jets' problem is they put together a lot of good teams. They put together. You remember their secondary, but they never get the quarterback, right? And it's sort of the same with the Knicks. They never get the quarterback is in football is equivalent to the star player, like the top star. We get a star, and then we don't get get a Melo. We get a Ewing. We don't get a secondary like 20-point scorer. We get a Melo, same deal. He's got to go against J.R. Smith. He got to go to war with J.R. Smith. Right now, the Knicks have that guy, and I'm gonna tell you right now, Jalen Brunson is that guy. Whether he has one thing that's like the height situation, but he has the Carl Anthony Towns who's a walking 24 or 25 points a game next to him. I think this is the most complete Knicks team of all time. It's not delusion. It's delusion to sit there watch the Knicks have one of the best starting fives in the league and say they're not a contender. That's delusion. But the Jets, they never get that quarterback. It's always a Vinny Testaverde, and they drafted three quarterbacks in the top five and within 5 years, and that's not how you run a franchise, right? So they just never get that guy. That's why they never win. The Knicks are now finally set up to where we are a contender. I already said we're going to win this year, so you can call me delusional all you want, aircraft carrier. But yeah, we finally got the guy. We finally got a complete team around them. So anytime you have a Malcolm Brogdon who was six man of the year 2 years ago fighting for a roster spot, I think you have a pretty good roster.
Dude, I actually have the Knicks coming out of the East this year because of what we talked
Yeah.
about earlier. Like there's injuries. I don't think the Celtics and the Pacers will be factors, and I think that the Knicks were probably at worst the fourth best team in the East last year. I think they were third, but I think I think it's in between them and Orlando. Hot take, but I think it's going to be Knicks and the Nuggets in the finals. But we'll see. But
Same here. That's my same finals. So yeah.
yeah, definitely. So let's see here. He said, well, he asked what kind of women we prefer. Well, maybe we'll pass on that one for now.
And
So,
she was the best player on those early 2000 Blazer teams. Yes, he was.
yep, definitely. Let's see. Let's go down to this one. Eric here says, Travis, will LeBron James' Laker jersey be hung in the rafters before Fisher? Derek Fisher said, dude, if it was up to me, Crafter, LeBron will not have a jersey retired there unless he somehow plays for like another 5 years and wins like two more chips. Like, come on. You have actual, like you said, actual players' jerseys who aren't going to be hung up there. Like, who? Ori's not up there, right? Is Rick Fox up there? No, I don't think. Like,
Yeah.
Fisher should be up there. Fisher was there for all the wars, every one of the three, like the two runs. He was there. He was Mr. Clutch. He was a lot of, like Kobe said, he was the leader of that locker room, right?
I have a quick
And
question. Is
yeah,
is Gail Goodrich up there?
I
If
believe
Gail
he
Goodrich
is,
up there,
right?
okay. If he is up there, then you can justify Fish. But
Yeah, no fish
I
for
can't.
sure.
Yeah.
Remember,
I
like
mean,
it said, Kobe said the thing that sticks out to me most about Derek Fisher, besides how clutch he was you had guys like Shaq and Kobe saying that Fisher commanded the most respect because he would go in
mhm,
there and people would listen. Like that 0-1 run when he was injured, he came back and the Lakers like, okay, we're winning the championship. Like as soon as he came back, just
yeah,
because he was such a steadying force, and
yeah,
that really stuck out to me because Fisher was
yeah. He
was
made a
awesome.
lot of. He made a lot. I don't think he's technically good enough to get but he does mean a lot to the Lakers. He did hit a
Yeah,
lot of big shots. He was there long enough. I mean, yeah, other than that stint in Utah, and he came back because of the
yeah.
situation with his daughter.
There were so many
Yeah.
guys for that, or so many guys like that, right? Throughout NBA history, that were
Mhm.
just like integral parts, but you'll never see them in the Hall of Fame or the rosters, right? But they were just those
Mhm.
guys, the glue to the teams, right?
And
But
and far be it for me to be a hater, LeBron James. At some point, the Lakers organization is going to grab their nuts and say, "This, forget the one championship in the bubble. This is not Laker standard. Like getting out of the first round 2 times in 7 years. When you have that advanced billing, when you trade for Luca and AD, like he's gonna have to get another championship and a real one that they can celebrate there in the Staples, whatever the crypto arena, whatever they call it now.
yeah, facts. No, that's a great point. Also,
Oh, yes, sir.
Aircraft Curious says, Travis, what is your reason for abruptly leaving GJK after having your key role? Well, as I said before, and I've explained it, a lot of times, but I mean, just for those who haven't heard, I left because, and it wasn't like a mad animosity thing. There wasn't like a blow up. I just said, hey guys, there was a couple things that preceded it. A couple things we have been told that we couldn't say about LeBron publicly, or privately for that matter. And I was like, hey guys, I think I'm out because the show has really become every week it finds a way to become either that's the topic or it becomes the topic is LeBron good, Mike bad, and a variation of that. And like that's fine. They can do whatever they want. It's their show, but I did not sign up for that. I signed up to have different topics, to talk about different scenarios, more debates, and the fact that we were kind of being censored about LeBron too is like kind of was like the last straw. So that's why I left, man. I just want a little bit more, a little bit more objectivity, diversity as far as like the topics went. And I expressed that to him, and like I said, it was an amiable thing. I just was like, "Hey guys, much love to you, and I thank you for the fun, good times, but it just was no longer a place where I was having any fun." So, but that being said, Ro, until we get another great question, I had started off monologuing about these idiotic comments that I'm sure you heard your boy Gilbert and Tracy McGrady were saying about how James would be the undisputed GOAT if he was in the triangle, like at the same time Mike was.
Yeah.
Did
Oh
you hear that
boy.
garbage?
Oh, yeah, and look, the film. The thing about the triangle offense is it's a constant ball moving offense, right? The ball has to move. You can't dribble too much. It's not too much of keeping your head down. There will be times for you to operate one on one. I don't think LeBron. I think LeBron needs the entire court. I don't see him as a triangle player. A lot of players are not triangle players. That's not a knock. He wants more of the drive and kick game. But you have to have a point where you can get the ball and operate and hit a mid range. That wasn't in LeBron's game. And even at this point, he's a one-on-one operator, and he can get more. He can get you one-on-one. But there wasn't a lot of. I mean, there were times where you could get one-on-one, but it has to be within the structure. People have to. The bottom line is people have to touch the ball. Everybody has to touch the ball. When I watched the San Antonio Spurs do 15 passes in 14 and then the 24-second clock before getting a great shot, that's the type of offense I don't see LeBron being in. So this wishful thinking that they keep doing. If LeBron wanted to play for Popovich or he wanted to play for a triangle system, he could have done that. He's had control of his career. So the idea that he would have, could have, should have, that doesn't work for me. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, those are my thoughts exactly, man. And like they've actually called that out. Is like you said, it was LeBron wouldn't have been able to play his game where he's the initiator of the offense, like, and he maybe just throws somebody or he just bullies to the basket. Like he would have had to have perfected his jump shot a lot earlier.
Yeah,
Way better,
less assists.
way more work off the ball, things like that. I'm not saying
You're
that
getting less assists because you're getting more hockey assists, right? There's going to be that
yeah,
extra pass where you're not getting the assist. That's why I say a lot of
yeah,
times.
exactly. Like his assist
Yeah,
numbers would have been nowhere near what they were now.
what Papa?
Like neither would his rebounds. I mean, because I'm not saying he couldn't score or help out, obviously, but it would have been like I don't understand like why they think like that reason. I'd like to say that like I'd like to hear their reasoning for saying that.
Yeah, it's just the start of algorithm. It's the start of algorithm with crazy spicy talk. You
No, it would
know,
have been. No, it would have been. Yeah. Well, I mean, aircraft carrier, sure. LeBron is, a fantastic facilitator, but I mean, he could probably play in it, but at what would his role be? Would it be the Michael Jordan role, which I didn't think he could do? Would it be a better Pippen where he takes more shots and he's like maybe their facilitator to a degree? I can see maybe that happening. But like I said, his shot attempts would go down. But like, so how would he be the GOAT? Undisputed, right? I don't think that system would lend himself to as many awards or accolades that he got, just kind of playing LeBron ball.
yeah, you give up something. You might have more winning if he figures it out, but then the
Yeah.
stats go down. And that's the
Yeah.
thing. And at what point does he say, "Oh, this doesn't work for me"? I don't think he's. See, no, I'm not trying to knock him. I don't think he's an educated enough player because when on Friday night I went up there and I saw them looking at the triangle versus San Antonio versus LeBron versus San Antonio, and again You're talking about two whole different styles. Then LeBron has never showed that he can play off ball because he had a problem playing with Wade the first year. They didn't know which one could be the man, which one could be the secondary guy, and it was always an issue. Same thing with Kyrie. They didn't know when one could take over, when one could be, and it took a minute to work out. So you can work it out, but I don't think it would have been an instant hit anywhere. So
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Plus, Mike. I mean, if he was replacing Michael Jordan directly, then like I said, he would have had to have had a whole different game style, right? But then if he's joining Mike, yeah, I don't. Yeah, it would have been a lot of things that he would have had to answer before, But he's still not winning. I don't think he's going to win 4 MVPs, right? Not with Mike, right? He's not going to get Finals MVPs, right? Like, how would he have been the GOAT? I need that justification. And no electric here. LeBron definitely does not have the highest basketball IQ known to man. I would say that probably goes to someone like Larry Bird, right? Maybe I don't know, like Bill Russell, maybe to a degree. But that's but yeah, you're right, bro. I think it's mainly just when people say that, it's just to start an argument because especially when you see McGrady and Gilbert Arenas giving their takes because they never back it up with like facts or in this case any like concrete reasons why they say that. They just say it because he had Phil Jackson, that means he'd be the GOAT. Like what? Like that just doesn't make any sense. um Eric Avery says, why is players consider being a ball hog? Because they are aggressive scorers opposed to being dominating the ball, dictating everything, and using the whole shot clock. I mean, good question, Craig Carey. I mean, it's I guess it really depends on when people say ball hog, I think they just mean that like they're pushing a narrative because I mean you can say there's a ball hog on every team, right? Like it's the guy who leads your team in shot attempts. Like everyone's hogging the ball to some degree. And also, if your facilitator is dictating everything using a whole shot clock, and he's not getting your real pass off. That's a problem, right? You want to get into your offense fast. You want the ball to start moving very quickly, right? And so maybe some issues there. But the ball hog thing to me is just it's never really been, especially if the team is winning. I mean, you could say that the only real thing that I'll agree with it maybe was maybe a ball hog was like early Wilt, right? When he was averaging freaking like 38 shots a game for like the first 6 years of his career. That's a ball hog, right? Obviously, he could score a lot. He was efficient, and they let him do it. But that's the definition of a ball hog when you're taking literally 80% of your team's shots, or whatever the case is. But it really depends on what your team is. But no, I mean I don't think Kobe's a ball hog because who else is going to take a shot? Kobe was an apt passer, when he especially like during his last couple of runs. Are there shots I think he should have passed up on? Absolutely. Did it affect his efficiency to a degree? Like his selection? Sure. But, your best player is always going to take the majority of the shots. That's just the way basketball works. And let's see here. Hey, what up, Go Cast, man? No, that's fine, man. Like you had your own stuff to do. We appreciate you popping in, dude. If the link is in the chat, if you get bored, feel free, dude. Obviously, you're 100% welcome. Go Cast Hoops says LeBron could not work in triangle. He would need different teammates if he did play in it. That's facts. Great take. Let me get him in here. There's Mr. Rowe.
Yeah, sorry about that. My father-in-law took a spill in the street. So I had to help him. He's
No problem.
okay,
I hope he's okay.
He's okay. No, he's okay. He fell on his on his backside, but he's all right.
Aircraft carrier says, and this is obviously we'll both tag team on this, but who is our GOAT running back? Dude, I'm gonna have a wild take. To me, I've always said like the best running back I've ever seen, and I know maybe the insane stats aren't there, but I think it's Adrian Peterson myself. I know someone's probably gonna say Barry Sanders or Jim Brown. That's fair, but to me, AP was just ridiculous. And he was doing it for a long time. He won an MVP. He was just out there. But what do you think, Ro?
AP had a good 5 years. Barry had an amazing 10 years. And the thing is, Barry didn't have he didn't have the best line around him. Barry just made stuff out of it. Barry he was so shifty, you couldn't catch him. I mean, the guy could go, he could break. He was always going to break out a 60-yard run, every game. Honestly, if they had a team, if he had a really good quarterback, Barry would have done more in the playoffs and all that. But Barry was amazing. Again, he had just 10 years and out. Yeah, man. I'm going Barry over AP. AP had a dominant 5 years, maybe 6 or 7. I remember when he was the guy in fantasy football, right, for about a good 3-4 year period. But he fell off. Barry never fell off. He left out on top, right? He's still getting 15, 16, almost 2,000-yard years, and he's decided to retire in his prime,
Yeah. Well,
I mean, AP probably was a better passer. I mean, blocker. Like, but Barry didn't give you much in terms of block, but as far as taking it to the house, making plays, making something out of nothing, making people miss, Barry's the best I've ever seen.
I mean, that's 100% fair. I think 95% of people would say that too, justifiably.
Remember him and Thurman Thomas was in the same backcourt at Oklahoma State.
Oh yeah. Aircraft says, who's your guys' GOAT wide receiver? I mean, it's hard not to say because I mean Jerry Rice has like the Tom Brady argument, right? For like the stats, wings. I mean, I would say Jerry Rice, but I almost want to say Calvin Johnson, just because he was so dominant, like with a terrible receivers, right? He was unstoppable. He was always having to bail receivers out. No one could cover him, even though you knew he was the only weapon on that team for years. He had monster MVP type numbers, and he was never playing with a Brady or a Manning or a Breeze. He had garbage teams around him. They were going 0-16. I mean, but he would just be, put up the best numbers. You couldn't stop the man. I mean, when you're game planning for him, there's no other threats. It's a piss poor quarterback play. I mean, I want to say him. Obviously, you could say guys like Randy Moss. There's a plethora of other guys, right? But I mean, for me, it was. I mean, if I'm drafting a wide receiver first, I'm probably taking Megatron.
So for me, obviously, it's Rice, but I want to comment on Megatron. Megatron was, again, he's another guy that retired in his prime, right? And he could have done more. I mean, again, it's almost like me knocking your LeBron argument. Well, Rice was that guy. He won early. My thing about Rice is and this is the difference between a LeBron, I've never seen anybody have his number. Like, even like you're talking about a guy that went against Prime Dion and would still get his 6 catches for 100 yards with Dion covering him. And Dion took everybody out the game. Rice was you couldn't take him out the game, right? Now, the longevity argument for Rice, the second half of his career is a Hall of Fame career alone. Like the post, and he played up to 42. So you're looking at like from 32 to 42. That's a Hall of Fame career receiver right off the bat. And that's not even considering his prime.
Yeah,
the numbers
it's hard to not say him. It's really hard to not say him objectively, right?
Yeah,
it's really hard. Who is your GOAT safety, Rope?
Ronnie Lott. Okay. Anybody that can lose a finger and stay in the game when I see the condition of the modern athlete, this man lost a finger. Got it, he lost a finger, wrapped it up, and stayed in the game. He was such a hard hitter, really good cover guy. Definitely Ronnie Lott. I mean, Lynch was great. Not Lynch. What was that? Lynch is somebody, I forget. It was somebody from Buccaneers who was pretty good too. I forget his name. It was not no, that was Lynch. It was Lynch. Alstott was there, fullback.
Yeah, Mike.
Yeah. You got, let me see in a minute.
I'd probably say Ed Reed.
Ed Reed was good. But like I said, Ronnie Lott, bruh, he lost a finger. Stayed in the game, still hitting people hard upside the head. Roy Polamalu, that's another one.
When the GOAT says you were his toughest competition ever, I mean, it's like it's so hard to go against that.
Yeah, bro. Yeah,
But
bro.
yeah, there's so many, right? Like it's just football is one of those sports where it's you have so many options. It's
Mm-hmm.
insane.
I
Rod
love it.
Woodson,
Yeah.
yeah. Or another one.
I love it. You know, I love when NBA fans talk. And I'm not the biggest NFL cat in the world. I'm
Mm,
a casual at this point, but I still seen what I've seen. When they try
mhm.
to talk NBA, when they try to talk like it's an NBA, no. So many things have to go work for a team to win in football versus basketball.
Facts.
Yeah,
Facts.
there's so many things have to be moving pieces. You cannot win. Like Brady could not win without a competent line. You know,
Facts.
and he had that. And you know, they had so it's a whole do your everybody must do their job in football. And that's
Yeah,
why
you
you
got
do
to stay
different
healthy too,
positions.
right?
Yeah. Yes, for sure. For sure.
Yeah. It's
For
just like
sure.
who's the hottest, who's the healthiest at the end of the season because it's
Yeah,
one big
man.
elimination, right?
Hey,
Until like
hey,
the
hey,
NBA.
hey, hey. Let me throw one to the crowd. Let me throw one to the audience.
Yeah.
LT or JJ Watt. And that's when I know I can talk to you guys. LT or JJ Watt.
Wow.
Oh, Brian
That's
Dawkins
actually really
another
good.
one.
That's a really good. Yeah. Let's see what they say. LT.
Okay. All right.
LT.
All right, Carrier. You check out in my book. Here we go. No,
I
no.
mean, how do you not say
JJ
LT
Watt
though?
JJ Watt is a beast, no doubt about it. Like, I mean, JJ Watt, the speed he has for a down lineman, for edge rusher
Is
was
JJ Watt
amazing.
still like even the best defender in his own family though?
Yeah, I know, right?
We'll see.
Not to say that, but I mean LT absolutely. LT was like Mike Tyson when it came to knocking out quarterbacks, bro. Like,
Yeah.
and again, he played in a league where it allowed you to do that, but my God, you couldn't block him. You could, I mean, then he was really great. That's the thing, he was great against the run as well. So, yeah, JJ wasn't no slouch. JJ wasn't no slouch. I thought JJ wasn't the greatest run. See, to me, like when I look at a Strahan, and I'm not
Hmm.
saying Strahan's the best edge of all time, but I think he was the most complete because Strahan you couldn't run to his side. Like he wasn't
Yeah.
just a guy that got the quarterback. He also chased down runners, running backs trying to get over to that
I
right
hated
side.
Strahan. I hated. He robbed me of 2 rings, bro.
Reggie White, man, listen, Reggie White, bro. When Joe Montana did that commercial when he's with the shrink and everything he saw was Reggie White. I'm telling you, bro. Reggie White was that dude. Reggie White, Bruce Smith, LT. Like to be in the league, didn't have to deal with those guys. At some point, you got to deal with what those guys. If you're a quarterback, and yeah,
Oh
man,
God, yeah.
those guys are monsters.
Aaron Donald. Hey man, Aaron Donald's in the conversation. He's up there.
Yeah, he is. He is, but the minister, bro, the
Yeah,
minister.
Mr. Defense had to do it. I mean,
Uh,
it's crazy. Like when entire game plans are around just blocking you.
mm-hmm. Yeah,
It's
that's. I
really tough.
mean, I see Jadeveon Clowney got that going, and he got a big run. But and again, it was another guy. What was this guy that played for Florida? He had it was early 2000s. Forget his damn name. He was good though, but he was so one dimensional. Like he was only good at getting the quarterback. He played for Florida early 2000s. I think he was with the Titans for a minute. Charles Ellie was great. Shit.
Oh God, I can't remember his name.
Let me think his name. Damn it. Who's that guy that played for Florida? His name is at the tip of my tongue, guys. Shit.
Was it
Hold on
Deacon
one
Jones?
second.
No. What am I talking about? Uh, let's see here.
Shit.
Let's see. All time. Was it your boy Jack Youngblood?
No.
uh,
I
Alex
remember I
Brown.
used to play. I remember I used to play with him a little bit on NFL Blitz. Remember NFL Blitz? That was the Javon Curse. Javon Curse was his name. Yes.
Oh, okay. There we go.
Javon Curse. Now he was good, but again, he was a little bit aircraft carrier got it. Javon Curse
Good
had
job.
and again, he's another one that kind of fell off, but I thought he was a little one dimensional too. Like he wasn't a great run stop, pass rusher. So
Yeah.
yeah, when it comes down to hey man, look, we talking while they're talking that we talk about because they ask you about them while they're talking the same
Same thing.
subject.
Yep.
Look at what we're doing over here, man.
Well, and like you know what's terrible is like you can look at the topic, right? And like you can say, "Oh, maybe that could be a little bit objective." Oh, no, but it's going to include the
Yep.
same two or three
hmm
players and the
hmm
narrative is going to be like they're not going to celebrate those players.
And
Well,
look,
they're
not to be. I went on there last night because I can't help it. Saturday night,
sure,
what am I doing down here? Unless we
sure.
was going out, yeah, I sat there and I said that Bill Russell had skill. Bill Russell had
Yeah.
skill. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm not saying he was more skilled because they asked me about Russell and Duncan on my top 10. And I said, Bill Russell's skill, number one,
Mm-hmm.
it's funny, right? It's funny because, Mr. Chat GPT used something about LeBron and they said LeBron has the chase down block. And
Oh
they
my
counted
God.
that as a skill.
It's not a
Okay.
skill.
Okay. And so I'm just saying, if you want to get to a skill, Bill Russell was the master of the chase down block as well. Bill Russell was so good at the chase down block that he had guys wide open for layups, looking back, knowing he could cover ground and get the chase down block. I
Yeah.
saw Bill Russell chase down block and catch a chase down block, jumped over a guy to block another guy. Okay, Joe, what up, Joe? Shout out to Joe.
Wait, did they say
You know,
that they disagreed with your take that he had no skill?
they they said that he did not have
Oh my
a litany of art of it. See it again. Then when you start to look at go-to moves and all of that, obviously Bill Russell didn't have that. But what I said about his skill and his athleticism and the things he did, jump timing, the whole nine, the
yeah.
outlet passing, those are all skills.
Tipping a block to his teammate.
Yes, those are all skills. Those are instincts and stuff like that. Those are all skills. I believe all of that. See, it's like when we had the whole controversy about Giannis Antetokounmpo, and they said he wasn't skilled, right? Harden said he wasn't skilled, right? And that way it
Oh
became a
my
whole
God.
thing. I'm when he
Stupid.
went
Yes.
when let me tell what the block that he made on DeAndre Ayton, considering how he was at the foul line extended. It was Chris Paul that threw the lob, right? The
Yeah.
recovery that he took. Yeah, he got fooled on a play pretty much. Was in the wrong position. Recovered to get up there to block a guy like Ayton. I'm not saying Ayton is Shaq, but Ayton is a hell of a finisher. That's why he was the first pick. That's a skill. That's not just athletic ability. And again, see, for guys that love LeBron, I think athletic ability is a skill. I
Mm-hmm.
think athletic ability is a skill, especially when you use it correctly. Because guess what? Gerald Green was one of the most athletic players ever in the world. Outside of that, he didn't have much. He didn't have too many. He was a good jump shooter and all that. But Gerald Green didn't reach his Tracy McGrady potential because he didn't have much skill dribbling the ball. You understand what I'm saying? So every attribute you can have is a skill. I'm just saying, bro.
No, I mean you're 100% right, and like that. But that's you. I'm like you can say that, Ro, because you can talk about players objectively without having to somehow tie it to LeBron James,
Thank you,
right?
thank you.
And
And it's
that's
like,
what
yeah,
that's all you're getting over there. And not only that, it's that like you cannot not only can you cannot just say anything nice about LeBron, you have to also at the same hand trash Michael Jordan in some way. Like you
yeah,
can't just have a conversation about,
yeah.
oh, who do you think the most skilled was? You because it's not going to go down the list. It's just going to be no, no, no. Tell me why. But when I ask you who's the most skilled, I want you really to tell me why do you think it's LeBron and why does Michael Jordan suck? See, that's what you were getting, Aircraft Carrier, to kind of answer your question more. That's the direction it was going on GJK. And we were told really to do that. So that's when you kind of got to, reevaluate. To me, it's not worth it. Like I don't like content like that. Not nothing against the people involved, but if that's your stick, it's shock jockey. It's not genuine, and you're not objectively talking the game.
And you're playing. So I'm saying over here, we have a conversation with our audience. Over there,
Yeah.
you're playing gotcha politics. You're doing the chat GPT games. Again, anytime he reads up your chat GPT criteria, it's so
Yeah.
Lamont talk. You can tell it's Lamont talk. So basically what happens with chat GPT, the more you talk to it, the more it has your input. It has your imprint with these algorithms and these AI algorithms. So you're doing it, and it's Lamont talk again. Like anybody that says chase down block is a skill, okay. If we can say chase down block is a skill, then you can't tell me a guy like Bill Russell was unskilled because he was master of that as well. You understand
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like it's see one thing I love about basketball. One thing I love
Yeah.
about basketball. Whatever your game is, I'm sorry, I don't want to get it along with it, but whatever your game is, like if you're a good picker, if you're good at setting picks,
Yeah.
when we do open run, hey, if all you can do is set a pick, that's a skill.
Yep.
Okay, and I might want to pick you because guess what? You can make it easy for me to score if you're good at passing, if you're good at shooting, if you're good everything you do that whether it's defense or offense is a skill. And if you have a certain amount of skill, if that's all you can do and you can't shoot a lick, I'm still going to pick you because guess what? I might need some rebounds. Everybody can't do the same thing. If you got 5 point guards, you're going to lose. Who's going to get the rebounds if you got 5 point guards?
Facts. That's why Dennis
You know what I
Rodman,
mean?
3 shots a game for his career, but his skill
Thank
was
you.
looking like trajectory of rebounds. He had a nose for that. He was great at
Thank
boxing
you.
out. Had a high
Thank
defensive
you.
IQ. Those are people that you need, and their skills lie in what they do great. Like obviously, like these clowns are probably going to say, "Oh, LeBron was like just so great at passing," but like guys like we talked about Rodman. Like, hey, we talked about Derek Fisher. We talked about you're skilled at something, otherwise you don't make the team.
Yep.
Right?
And some guys are just 7'3". You can't teach that, right? Some guys are
Yeah.
7'3" and can move
Sean
well
Bradley.
enough and can grab the rock. No, well, Sean Bradley had it. He had some skill, but no,
Did
I
he?
know what you mean. It was a little guy. Trust me, there was big guys worse than Sean Bradley. But sometimes being big is a skill.
That's
Sometimes just
true.
being bulky is a skill. You
Yeah,
know?
yeah, 100%. I mean, you gotta have some people clogging it up, right? You gotta have 12 fouls against Shaq.
Yeah, that too, right? Oh, we talked about it on another TikTok live about that's a good question. That's a good question. 86 Celtics or the 01 Lakers. And how would that see? I wanted to do that debate series about taking two teams in different eras and how would that series go? So we talked about that, and they said the 86 Celtics did not have the bodies to deal with Shaq. Now, again, we all know Shaq was not a guy that you were shutting down. Nobody, not even Akeem did it, not even Rodman did it. No one ever shut down Shaq because he was just too big to deal with. But you could beat Shaq, and that's
Yeah,
the bottom line. To say that
yeah,
the
you
86
could.
Celtics did not have the body between Greg Kite, you're gonna have help defense from McHale. You're gonna have Walton off the bench, Greg Kite off the bench. You're also gonna have Robert Parrish.
Walton
Come
will
on, man.
probably play more minutes, I would assume.
You know what's crazy? Greg Kite wound up on the Orlando Magic, expansion Magic, being one of the guys guarding Shaq in practice, right? By the time Shaq gets to Orlando. So it's
Yeah,
like, again, I said, you guys are young, you guys are
yeah,
young, y'all don't seem to understand. And I'm like, look, I told them, I said, all you guys are forgetting that the Celtics did deal with Akeem and Ralph Sampson in the finals. Not to say that's the same thing, but to go to show you they had enough bodies, they had enough big men depth to deal with great dominant big men. Obviously, Sampson and
yeah.
Akeem are different type of big men, but by the
Mhm.
same token, yeah, I mean, look, I would say this: the Celtics would get them to the fourth quarter and out execute them. And you got more executors because Kobe was the main executor, right? Between
Yeah,
him and Fish, right? Especially for that
yeah,
01 team, throwing a little bit Red Fox. Rice wasn't there for 2001. Ori
yeah,
was,
yeah.
right?
You had
Yeah,
Brian Shaw, right? Shaw was there. Isaiah Ryder was there.
yeah, but between Bird, Parrish, McHale, DJ, Ainge, I mean,
Yeah,
come on, Gerald. I mean, was Gerald Henderson there? I think he was. No, maybe he wasn't.
that would
Cornbread
be
was
a
still
great
there. Maybe.
matchup. That would be a
Yeah, I
fantastic
mean,
matchup.
fantastic matchup. This is what I'm saying. It's like if you know what people do too. I'm sorry, I know I'm going on. But people wound up thinking that these series come down to a game of 1-on-1. It's not 1-on-1. It's 5-on-5.
Yeah.
And it's like, Ed, let them go down to Shaq all day in the fourth quarter. You just play right into the Celtics' hand, and the Celtics are going to sweep. You would have to then strategize. Okay, we know that Shaq is a free throw line liability. We know we can't just depend on the dump it in the ball to him in the fourth quarter. He's got to get his dominance in the first three quarters and possibly keep a Parrish and all these guys in foul trouble. Make them have to go to a whole fourth quarter. Let's say he gets 5 fouls on Parrish by the end of the third quarter. Okay, now you're gonna have to deal with old Bill Walton holding down the fort, in that whole fourth quarter. Okay, maybe but by the same token, you have enough foul distribution between the big men on the Celtics to do that. You know what I'm saying?
That Celtics team was actually one of the better interior defensive teams of all time, too.
Thank you.
Like, especially
Thank you.
because of all those
Thank you.
things you just said. Like that would be I think it would be won or lost really. Like who's going to stretch the floor besides Kobe? That team, like, because they can defend the perimeter. I mean, Kobe is really the only mismatch, right? You
Mhm.
had it would have been tough because you had guys like Ainge, like Bird, what's his name, the other guard, escapes my name.
Henderson.
Henderson, and then I had to look at that roster again, but you could stretch the floor in the Lakers. They didn't have like that elite perimeter D. Obviously, you had Rick Fox and Kobe, and Fisher wasn't a slouch, but I think it would be a great series.
It was a great
Um,
series, no
it would
doubt.
just be about their strength. I mean, I probably have the Celtics honestly winning that.
Yeah, I
To
just
be,
think from style and coaching, no knock on Phil. No knock on Phil and Casey Jones. Casey Jones is a pretty good coach too. But
yeah,
your style and coaching, the on the floor IQ, not to say that so Henderson wasn't on that team. You did have Sam Vincent, you did have Rick Carlisle, the coach, Ainge, then it's DJ 6'4". So, it's not like he's a shrimp he can't deal with
yeah. DJ there, DJ. You had no, you had like
Scott
exactly what you said.
Webman, yeah.
Bill Walton was sixth man of the year, right?
Yep.
That's
Short,
crazy. Yeah,
short, yeah, short rotations the same. You don't have. I remember when I think I debated Sturdy on this one. Like there's no wasted movement in that roster. Not to say that it wasn't, because look, what's the name? The old one Lakers were dominant too. You sweep that West. If
yeah.
you sweep that West with the San Antonio Spurs included, yeah, that's a hell of a thing.
That was that series was probably the most like if you go back and watch that series, especially the first two games in San Antonio.
Yeah,
Like that's like it was frightening to see how good like Kobe Bryant was. Like it was
yeah,
Shaq too. Shaq and no aircraft. I'm definitely not saying they would stop Shaq, but if you're gonna build a team to contend with Shaq, you need like 86 Celtics had like three of the maybe the best interior defenders of all time, right? Like
yeah.
Bird, or I'm sorry, Parrish, McHale, and Bill Walton. I mean,
Yeah,
obviously they're
and
not gonna.
I'm looking at that play. I'm looking at that playoff run. They only lost one game in the East, and
Yeah,
that was to Dominique's Hawks.
didn't they have like the
Dominique
best
had a
home record of
monster
all
game.
time too during the regular
Yeah,
season?
40-41. You
Oh.
couldn't beat them. You couldn't beat them in that garden. They also would play those games. They would play those games. They would turn the heat up. They
Yeah,
would make the locker room like 90-something degrees. And then the showers would be extra hot and shit like that.
yeah. No, I mean that team was
The
disgusting.
yeah. Yeah, so and then I see the game five, Celtics came and just all right when they're done playing around 33-point win. Larry Bird had 36. I mean, come on, man. It's
Yeah, no, I mean
Kobe
it's
versus
just
Larry. Prime Kobe versus Kobe. Larry would have been a hell of a thing to see, but yeah, I mean,
yeah, that would have been prime Kobe versus Larry would have been a war because
yeah,
I don't think Larry's checking him, but I mean I don't think Kobe could. I mean could shut him
Kobe
down
would,
either, but it would have
yeah,
been fantastic to watch.
uh-huh, uh-huh. We're not stopping Shaq, but we're definitely limiting Shaq. That's the thing. God, I want to ask a question too. 2000 Ravens versus 85 Bears. Who had the better defense?
Ooh, I'm going Ravens.
Ravens, yeah, they did what they did to my Giants in the Super Bowl. I can't. That's the that's the crazy part, right? If the Jets get to the conference finals, they're bragging. The Giants got to the Super Bowl. We don't even own that, even though we beat the dog piss out of the Minnesota Vikings in the conference championship game. We still don't even own that season, bro. Like, it's different.
Yeah, I mean that's that Ravens team. They were good for a number of years right after that, but they were like,
Yeah, Brian Billick.
yeah, just gross.
Hey, I gotta ask Zay that. I gotta ask Zay. He think his 85 Bears again. That was before he was born, but I'm sure being a Chicago guy, he would know about the 85 Bears.
Well, I hate the 85 Bears because they beat my Patriots, so you know.
Oh yeah. Let's see. A Patriots. See, that was a time when the AFC was just the AFC was like think about how bad the Eastern Conference was for a while. The AFC was even like the AFC couldn't even. It was like 13 straight years the NFC won the Super Bowl, something like that.
Yeah,
I forget
super dominant.
Who broke it. Who broke that streak? I think it was the Broncos. I think it might have been. You talking about 98? Wow. It might have been the Broncos. I know the Patriots lost, the Steelers lost to the Cowboys.
Yes.
97 was Favre's year to win a championship, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the Broncos in 98.
Yeah, that's crazy. And then there was like a lot more parity after that, right?
Yeah, after that, yeah. Then the Patriots went on their run, and you had the greatest show on turf when they won, and then they lost to the Patriots. So.
Oh yeah, and then you had the Giants in 07. You had the Colts, or not the Colts, but you had the Saints win one year. And then there was like kind of sprinkled in there, right? Like that. It's a bunch of teams. But yeah, I mean, I think the NFL's in a great spot right now. They're about to kick off right now, but yes, there were some great topics here, guys. We covered here. I'm gonna probably wrap it up a little bit early today, just so we can all sit down and watch our fantasy team suck. But I really have enjoyed this because we've gotten a lot of interactions, a lot of great questions. So I want to make this kind of a regular thing where we just me and Ro or whoever's here is just kind of rapid fire answers. You guys ask us whatever you want, and yeah, I mean also feel free, guys, to hit the link anytime you want next time or whatever. So come up here and participate. So because it's not going to be like it is with other shows where we just invite you up here to argue with you, right? Or to make fun of what you say. We want you up here to kind of give your take and opinion on anything, right? And that's the interaction we're going for. And you'll always have me and Ro up here. We do things like the debates every other Saturday. There was one yesterday with obviously myself and Herm. Grats to Herm. That was the best debate I've ever heard Herm do. Great. All credit to Herm. But yeah, he came with it. That was a fantastic one. But check out some of our older debates. Right, we've all done them, and we've had matchups galore. So we're building that up. But yeah. Any last words there, Ro, before we get out of here?
I just fact checked. It was the Raiders in '83 in that lockout year, and then the Broncos finally broke it in '97. So it was a 13-year streak for the NFC on Super Bowl wins. So then Denver went back to back, and that was definitely Elway's. I think Elway's top 5. I don't care who else come in. Elway is the top 5 quarterback of all time. So especially, yeah.
You can definitely argue that for sure. He has the awards, right? Yeah, so
no doubt.
For sure. Well, with that being said, guys, we super appreciate the interaction here. It's always good to field questions and to have a knowledgeable base asking us, questions that are actually interesting. And I think we had a lot of that here.
Man.
Obviously, Ro's a mainstay here and on his show, 10 Toes Down Podcast with GoCast Hoops, and CW's there. So we're going to be doing a lot more content. I am going to start doing, for sure, my show on Thursday. I'm gonna have it at 9 Eastern Standard Time, and so we'll do that. But yeah, next Sunday we're gonna do that, and then I think we're gonna have debates every other Saturday, guys. Okay, so we can give our people a lot of time to prepare, get ready, and then so we can flesh out these topics. But that being said, thanks for joining at Lights Out Sports Debates. I'm T Perfect. This is the Kings Beach Row, and you guys have a great Sunday.
All right, guys. Peace out.